Hi, this is Merlin. Today I'm just gonna talk about what I learned today. Today the main topic is the explanation about when you type URL on the browser, and this is kind of really common interview that distinct guys the users knowledge of like those kind of like web thing. So I'm just gonna try to do the same thing. First of all, you have to open the browser and you retype this some kind of search some kind of URL on this search bar, and to elaborate this kind of processes, this kind of simple process. Example, you go to your browser, you open new tab, and you search some HTTP or Facebook.com or Facebook.com. Let's say Facebook, and this kind of simple process before you hit enter. This uses the browser process and with the UI thread. So what does UI thread do is UI thread, it checks your input of your search bar, and it checks it is URL or it's for the search query. If it's for the search query, of course you're gonna list of your the search recommendation, and if it's not, if we show you the recommendation about the URL of it. So and of course if we do parsing, it will distinguish it. After you do you hit enter of your Facebook.com, and you use network thread to get the Facebook's real IP address. Because when first trying to enter the Facebook, this kind of URL, the browser, your browser don't know the Facebook's real IP address, so it has to be use the DNS lookup for it. So DNS lookup is basically checking the all of the domain DNS for the Facebook. So let me try to elaborate more. Let's say let's say these are the DNS. Alright, so where's the browser? Browser. Let's say here, and so this is your browser, and of course you type something URL on your browser, and browser will check on the cache of it. So the cache value will be the key will be the Facebook.com, and the value is some kind of the specific IP address. and when the browser doesn't have this cache, it gets the DNS resolver. Where is the wrong thing? So it uses DNS resolver. It checks DNS resolver that there's cache like the Facebook, the IP address. So DNS resolver, it just works like the phone book of it, because like when the 80s 70s there's no phone of it, so we list down the phone numbers on the really large book, and there's a key of the phone number, and the value will be some person's name or something like that. So, and after that, if there's no such a thing as the Facebook, we go to the I think it was like root DNS. I forgot. Wait. It was like, I think, DNS provider, but I think it was like root DNS provider. And so when you hit the DNS provider, it checks the some kind of if it is like if it is the com or it is not or not. So if your facebook.com is actually ends with .com and it goes to the DNS, which is the list of the .com, and after that it goes to some kind of DNS that the Facebook, some of the list of it, like example facebook.com or instagram.com. And after that, when you receive this Insta.com, you get sent back to the DNS server, because like Facebook, with the Facebook that comes with the IP address. And when DNS server gets the real IP address, it will change it will put here, because when we trying to like search the facebook.com again, it has to be cached, because this process is kind of long, and then this process to put the IP address on the cache of here, and after that the DNS server sends it back to the browser, and browser will cache it like this. And after when it receives it, now finally goes to the CDN or the web server, because we already know the real IP address. Now we just have to hit it, and next web server sends it back to the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and that's called DNS lookup. And when network try doing it, and when it receives those kind of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the network thread this thing is really the JavaScript or not. And when you receive it, it sends to redirect to the browser, the render process, because there's a browser actually because the Chrome is actually a multi-process application. There's a browser process and render process and a lot of things, but the core thing is browser process and render process. And after that, when render process, the network thread sends the some kind of JavaScript or HTML, CSS to the render process via IPC, inter-process communication. And when render process gets the JavaScript, HTML, and of course it was gonna get the HTML first, it was just gonna do the render process. But this kind of render process is actually heavily rely on your applications, the application render strategy, like CSR, SSR, or SSG with the CSR inside the SSG. So if it is like CSR, your like parsing in this HTML will be short, but the JavaScript, your chunk of the JavaScript will be a lot. So that's gonna be this is gonna be HTML, and that's gonna be your JavaScript. That bunch of JavaScript. So the parsing will be very fast about the HTML parsing, but the CSR, the bad thing about the CSR is JavaScript is really large, so you just have to wait for the JavaScript to load it, because JavaScript is the one who doing everything, like the main application. Because when you're trying to look at the HTML and the real application, there's only div with the ID with app. So the JavaScript or everything doing for the DOM manipulation. And also there's gonna be bad for the search engine, because the search index engine cannot execute JavaScript when you reach the HTML to crawl it. So that's gonna be bad for you. But after the SSR is just requesting rather than heavily relying on the HTML. Of course, the HTML will be HTML. It requests some kind of specific JavaScript file with the HTML. So it's gonna be the server is gonna be here, and you receive, and it's gonna be here. They don't CSR, but the SSG is there's already pre-built HTML. So there's gonna be more longer HTML parsing, but little JavaScript of it. So that's gonna be good for the search engine. So after when you're doing that, when you type the Facebook, that's kind of process we faced. Example, for if Facebook use CSR, we were gonna face this kind of stuff. So this is it. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye.